Hello and welcome to Divine Messy Human. This is my new podcast and I am your host, Amanda Kate. So who am I and why would you tune in? Well, I am a kinesiologist, an archetypal life coach, a mentor, a mother, a partner, a dog mum, a spiritual seeker, and so much more besides. I have been on this journey for over a decade now, of delving into the mind-body-spirit connection, of learning new things, unlearning old things, repatterning my nervous system responses, and delving deep into my soul to find out who I am and what I love. What I do know is the more that I've learned on this journey, the less I know, and the more I want to know. It is such a massive field of new discoveries and ancient wisdom and everything in between. And I find it fascinating. And I'd love to invite you on this journey with me as we navigate all the different ways that we can explore our mind, body, and spirit. I did about 6 years worth of study in 4 years for my kinesiology diploma. I did my advanced international diploma of kinesiopractic, where we went into spiritual, emotional, mental, and more. And lots of other techniques as well, including quantum neurology and total body modification. I did my Reiki and Reiki 2. I have done some mentorship in psychic and mediumship. I have worked with different coaches and mentors and hypnotherapists and acupuncturists and people from so many different modalities. And it has opened my eyes to this whole universe that I had no idea existed before. And I love it. It is not just my job, it is my life now. And I find it super exciting. Now, I think I mentioned before, I am not ready to start this podcast. I'm going to put it out there. I am green as you like. I have no experience in this realm. However, what I do know is that if I wait until I'm ready, I will never, ever do it. That may sound familiar to some of you. Some of you may really resonate with that. And I understand that because that's a really human thing. What I also know is that as soon as I mentioned I might think about starting a podcast, it was like when I told people I was pregnant and all of a sudden, all of this advice came out of the woodwork. What programs do I use? How do I edit? Do I edit? What visuals do I use? Do I do video and audio? All of the things. So you know what happened? I got overwhelmed and I parked the project and I've been sitting on it, even though I have done so much content planning and deciding who I want to have on as guests when I get to that point in the future. And I've done so much of that stuff. But what put me off was, what if I choose the wrong program? What if I'm not ready? What if I pay for a subscription for a program and then I don't like it or it doesn't do what I want it to do? What if these people were right and these people were wrong and the program that they love is the right one and the one that I've gone for isn't? And what happens if I don't learn all the lessons that they've learned in their podcasting journey to make my podcasting journey easier? You can see how I started getting overwhelmed, how I was listening to all of the external influences. And I wasn't tuning in to my own internal truth, which is I am going to get things wrong. I am going to say things that I regret. I am going to be messy. I am sometimes going to channel amazing stuff and it will be divine. And the whole thing will be a human experience. We can't all start off as professionals. We need to start somewhere. And so, if you're willing to stick with me, all I can promise you is that I'll practice. And hopefully with that practice will come improvement. Practice never makes perfect, it just makes better. And that's all I'm aiming for. So, why Divine Messy Human? What's that got to do with anything? Well, Divine Messy Human is the name of my book. And Divine Messy Human has a couple of different meanings. So prior to me finding this personal and spiritual development work that I'm doing, I denied my divinity and I suppressed that spiritual side of myself because I'd been told before that it was woo-woo and it was out there and it was not the kind of thing that people like us did. That it was too far away from that logic and that science and the way that things are done. And I get it. It can be scary when you put your toes into waters that are not so-called normal for you. So I denied my divinity. And I also tried to hide my messiness. I put up this facade that I had my shit together, that I was fucking normal, that I could do life easily and effortlessly, and that I was fun and social, and it was hard keeping that facade up. But every time it looked like that facade would crumble, I would double down. Anytime those cracks looked like they were going to be discovered, I would repaper over them and put my shiny, bright foot forward as best I could. However, the messiness always pops out in strange ways. It's never as hidden as we think it will be. People could see through it. People could see my suppressed anger. They didn't know why it was there, but they could see it. They could see all of the things that I thought I was hiding so beautifully well. My insecurities, my lack of belief in self, my lack of boundaries was glaringly obvious. And what all of that effort in denying my divinity and refusing to acknowledge my messiness did, it made my human existence really, really hard. Now, what I've learned since I've started dipping my toe into this personal and spiritual development journey is that I am part of the divine, as is everybody else. We are all connected to that God source or goddess source of love and compassion and empathy and divinity and joy and happiness and peace. We all have that within us. We are all part of the divine. And when we couple that with accepting our messiness as human beings, that sometimes, yes, we are going to see the divine in the world, and we're also going to experience tumultuous times. We're going to experience grief and hardship and times where we just feel like the world is railing against us. And that messiness makes our human experience human. And when we can accept our divinity and have empathy and compassion for our messiness, our human experience does get easier. I know, because I've traversed some pretty dark times in my life. I was in an emotionally abusive marriage. I went through divorce. I'm raising young children. I had a miscarriage. I have suffered grief. I have suffered all sorts of life's curveballs that get thrown. And also, I have learned ways to relate to the world, to interact with the world, and to respond to those events in ways I never thought possible. And I have to honestly say that today I am living a life that I never thought possible only 7 short years ago, when I was in the middle of that trauma. And now, as I feel into my world, I feel content and happy and peaceful, even when things are going so crazy outside of myself. There is this anchor within me that connects me to something so much bigger than me. So much bigger. And in the traumas, in the events that are not so much fun, that anchor is like this tether that keeps me from veering off the deep end, from feeling lost and disconnected and lonely the way that I used to. I've moved from illness with chronic fatigue, the start of a couple of other autoimmune diseases, and so much more, into a place where I'm healthy, I'm vital. I have more energy now than I had 10 years ago. I understand my body. The thing chronic illness gives you is a deep understanding of what's going on under the surface in your body. And it is such beautiful knowledge. So all of this stuff is kind of what I want to delve into with you guys. I want to take you on a journey. Some of it will be my experience. Some of it will be things I've learned along the way. Some of it will be other people's teachings. And I want to bring guests on. I want to delve into the body, mind, spirit, the connection, our connectiveness as a collective conscience. But not just that we are all one, but that we are all unique expressions of that oneness. And that as we embrace our unique expression, and as we become more confident bringing it out into the world and sharing it with other people and finding our voice, reconnecting to our creativity and reconnecting to one another, I believe that we can make this world a better place. I believe we can tap into a greater emphasis of love and compassion and empathy and togetherness. That we can heal some of the divides that have been created in the world. That we can bring more grace into our everyday life. That we can surrender to divinity when life gets hard, when things are railing against us and we feel like sometimes there's no way out. I am so excited to be starting this journey with you, even though I'm not ready. I know we're going to learn together. Please reach out to me if there are any topics at all you want me to cover. Email me, message me through your favorite social media app. And I cannot wait to connect more deeply with each and every one of you and share this journey with you along the way. I am going to be constantly growing, evolving and changing. I will never be the same person tomorrow that I am today, because there's always something new to learn. So come and get curious with me. Come and play with me. Come and have fun. Come and deep dive. Nothing is off limits, but where we go, there is no judgment. There is just open-mindedness and love.